motion to return from recess?
Yes.
So moved.
I'd like to move to approve the successor Public Works Collective Bargaining Agreement with the term from July 1, 2021 through June 30, 2025, and to request the funds necessary to implement such agreement.
So moved.
Discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 7-0.
Oh, yeah.
Just give her the writing.
Oh, wait a minute, I haven't got a copy.
Do you?
What do you think you're working with, a rookie?
Oh. He pulled that right out of the back pocket there, huh?
From left, right?
Anybody watching this on YouTube, inside joke.
Thanks, Warren.
Nobody was watching. Thank you.
Hey, 33 views, don't lie.
That's right.
That was 30 of them.
66 eyeballs.
Item number 13 is discussion and take possible action regarding the 21-22 capital plan. In front of you in your packet, you actually have the long-term capital plan. And we are in fiscal budget year 21-22. And Rory, take it away.
So there are some pretty substantial changes to what you guys saw last time, so we'll walk through them. And I'm just gonna go vertically down the list here for any changes. So the Public Works, dump truck replacement, that was originally slated to start this year. We have moved that out to next year for reasons that I will get into. We have, as we discussed, the 30,000 for the scale at the transfer station. That will now allow us to fully fund that project. The gas boy,
Can we just go back to that for a minute?
Sure.
The scale, and I'd just like to ask a question. If we approve this plan, I would like to see the purchase order for this, because we've already approved the bid, correct?
Correct.
I'd like to see it expedited. We're looking at a 14-week lead time, and we are now, because we don't have a scale, we are, doing the estimated weight, and I think once that vendor gets that purchase order, or he gets the check for the deposit for 50%, that gives us a little bit of wiggle room to start working with them, saying, hey, what can you do to cut the 14 weeks down to, 12 weeks or 10 weeks or whatever.
I'll double check. We had 50% already. You're short 30, but we had enough to cover 50. So I'll check. I believe we may have already done that, but I'll call.
Okay, I'd appreciate it.
So this way, if you say the yes, you're uncovered.
Rory, when you find that out, can you just send an email to Selectman Lombardi and then to all of us as well, please?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
The next, so the gas boy is our gas dispensing system. We have two pumps, dispensers, of gas and diesel down at Public Works garage. They are and have been in rough shape. They are functioning. The software, I mean, like many things, we have to scavenge parts when things go down, and the software has to be rebooted frequently, so it's not in good shape, but it is still working. So we had a quote from a few years ago. This was in the plan for this year at 100,000. As you can see, it is closer to 185. And so we've broken that out over 2 years to be fully funded by next year.
And we really need to replace that come next year. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
The next is the Public Works Storage Building. We received a steep grant from the state of Connecticut for $128,000. When we applied for the project, which was only last year, our estimate for the project was $200,000. With the changes in prices that we're seeing, we're told we should expect closer to $250,000. And so originally we had $50,000 in this line. We have increased that to $90,000 to try to help cover
And with that grant, we only have 2 years from the time we're given that grant to complete it.
Yeah, so it's time sensitive.
Very high priority. The dash and body cams originally was 40,000. As I explained, we are eligible for 30% reimbursement from the state. We have that in writing from them. There's plenty of money left in the lot at the state, and we're ahead of the curve on this in terms of the grant process, so we can be reasonably assured that we will be reimbursed there. That's why we're just like to move that money.
We got the Matthews grant for that too, didn't they?
Mm-mm.
I thought the police got, I'm sorry, continue.
The next up, so we have the high school generator and the
Radar.
Citizen Seymour ambulance generator. We were told to expect a $10,000 to $20,000 increase in both of those. And so originally that was funded at $60,000 each year for the high school and $70,000 for the other. So we bumped those up to help cover the increases. Additionally, we had to prioritize them. And so the reason that we have decided on high school, citizens, and Seymour ambulance is based on the current status of the generators at those facilities. The one in the high school is in worse shape. We've had some failures up there. This one, for now, is okay. And the other is that, you may recall Rob was here and requested a failover server cluster. And so we have multiple backup sites for our data throughout town, as well as relay stations for our emergency communication system through the bond issue that was, is still in process, but is almost complete. The high school is next. And so not having a reliable generator there is a ability, the failover cluster doesn't work if we don't have something.
Hold on, Roy, I have a question. It's gonna be a stupid question with
No
the
stupid
obvious
questions.
answer. But you're gonna need to just refresh my memory, okay? Totally understanding money, our building regardless. Why is the town paying for the generator and out of our budget and not the Board of Ed?
Good
Yes.
question.
I'm just gonna make the comment, it's taxpayer money, whether it's us or the Board of Ed, and I understand that, but considering we have others as well, I am curious to know why it's out of the town budget.
Go ahead, Rich.
Yeah, but this is a failover cluster for the IT director who now works for us, right?
No, hasn't.
No.
Oh, this is the generator.
That's just why we're giving it priority.
This is a straight generator. Typically, in many communities, large capital items such as this associated with the building is paid for out of the town side because it is in fact county. And that's typically how it's done. In many instances, in fact, these sorts of things are financed through a municipal bond. So,
Is that typical for Seymour? I trust your answer, but
I can't tell you that.
historically, has that been typical for Seymour, or why are we making the change?
I mean, I don't know the generator that's there, how it was funded. To our discussion when we were moving Tim over here, the schools are town buildings, you know, the renovation projects are funded through municipal bonds, not from the Board of Ed.
That's where I was at, town buildings.
Okay.
Like,
Well, no, I understand they're town buildings and we have to pay for it, the taxpayers to pay for it, whether it's our budget or the school budget, and I understand that. I was just surprised to see this here,
Yeah, and
In ours.
I don't know.
because they should have a capital plan as well, the school.
You can
That's
work
typical.
with the new superintendent on that process.
Or the
I'd like
intern.
that, please, thank
For
you.
the interim.
Or the intern.
I am meeting with her
Yep.
Thursday, so we can mention that.
Okay, thank you.
And then the rest is unchanged. So you can see for this year, next year, we are kind of right at the 9,000 units.
and I've said it before, you know, many years, to Kurt, the $10,000 for the oil tank removal fund is never enough, because you don't know what you're going to hit, and we've had underground storage tanks in several town properties, and when you remove an oil tank, there's testing that has to be done, and if there's contamination, then you need remediation. Yeah. So,
Can we just have it so that out of this budget, where any place we come in under, because you said Rory said there was multiple places where they said, assume you're gonna have to go 10 or 12 high, 10 or 20 higher than we talked about before. Anything that comes in under automatically gets kicked over to the oil tank replacement fund? So we're not gonna touch the 297.5, we're just, anything that comes in under automatically gets added to that.
I mean, we have money in the oil tank removal fund now. I have suggested to facilities that we start looking at maybe starting to remove the least offenders now.
Actively start doing it.
Yeah, actively start doing it so that we could at least know where we are, or at least we can sample around that tank. Currently, we can sample around that tank to see
where
if
the
there's
tough
any
ones are.
contaminations are, where
Yeah.
the tough ones are, what it will cost. Just knowing what the TPHs or what other contaminants are down there.
How many do we have to deal with?
There are several. There are at least 18 that we know of.
18?
Yep.
Yeah.
So are you recommending taking away from something or adding to it?
No. Right now,
Just keeping an eye out?
just keeping an eye on it.
Okay, that 10,000, is that gonna be currently just used for, oh, this just came up? Or do they have any program in place to be testing like you're talking about?
There's no program in place right now. I would like to get that going. I'm gonna speak to Tim, to start some sampling.
Okay.
We can do sampling without disturbing, so.
Mhm. Okay, well, other than that, everything so far is things that I know have come up before about being needed, so. And I think we've all seen what happens when you don't address the things that need to be taken care of
Yep.
in a timely manner.
Well, I mean, look at it now, and Trish can attest from this from her many years on the Board of Finance and on the Board of Selectmen, that, if we don't address things and if we didn't have our strategic planning, if we didn't have a capital plan, we'd still be behind the 8 ball as we were many, many years ago.
I'd like to see us develop some type of life cycle plan for some of the big ticket items, so we're looking at it proactively.
Yeah, you've
versus
mentioned that before,
Yeah.
Bob. That's a great idea. You gotta be proactive.
Yeah.
Like, I like the idea, Anne Marie, of going around and testing oil samples and everything, but that should be, to Bob's
should've
point,
been-
that should be that should have been done long
Yeah,
ago, right?
absolutely.
So let's get that on the
Yeah, we don't
ticker,
wanna do all
and have that
18 at
list
once,
where.
though, just in case. So
Right,
we'll
no,
start
understood.
with
No,
that.
that's what I'm
but that's
saying.
a pro-
But
that's
that'll
also- that's not
prioritize
just that
the
issue.
jobs.
Yeah.
When we
Yeah.
look at our big ticket items.
That's all that's
more of a
yeah.
life cycle
Be
plan.
careful what you wish for.
But so you're not on on this board in 10 years, the next group should not be left having the same conversation. Or else we
Right.
have not shown the leadership we
That
need
is
to as
what
a board.
needs to be done, but the directors of the
Department.
departments that, they need to cooperate in kind of helping to put that together, because they're the ones driving around town, because I think we've talked about equipment inventory, all different kinds of inventory to know what those life cycles are.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting the folks in the departments on board to
Well,
follow
that-
through
that's-
and
That
do
could be a part of the strategic plan as a ticket item. The
Yes.
life cycle plan has to be developed for the department so that you have better planning.
I
Yeah.
think it's in there, but that's your job,
Execute-
that's
I was just
why
say, you're
you're
in charge
there.
of it, Bob.
That's why you're
Now it's
there for the
executed.
dashboard.
I wanna see
Yeah.
Bob go to every single
Why I
building we
left.
have a pad.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at
We're
the
sending
W.
Finley out after you. if you
That's,
don't do it.
I left for this reason, so get on it.
I mean, let's just look at the WPCA. Right.
Well, I think there's some great steps, Rob. I mean, I think what Stefan brought up, and
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
some great steps there, so.
I mean, but right now he has, but so many years prior.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to repeat
Oh,
what
absolutely.
situation we just walked into there, yeah.
Yep.
Right, so now we're playing catch up with that too, and that not being brought out into the public until just recent. People don't understand, why we have to do this and why the costs are so high. It's
Well-
not just the
well, we
roads.
need
it's
to
our
give
The
them the
roads,
facts, we need to lay out,
WPCA,
right.
all these, and when they
We need to
start
lay out the
qualifying.
facts, and they'll understand
It's an
that
old
things haven't been
Communication
maintained.
plan.
And in the
Yeah.
scheme of things, we've only kind of been turning over to be a proactive town rather than a reactive
Right, like the
town in
past
the
decade.
last decade.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Yeah.
it's gonna take a while to catch up.
Agreed.
Hey, Rory, all the things that are on here that don't have any numbers next to them, like the police, new fencing, those are things that existed previously?
Yeah, so, I actually, that's another change that I forgot to mention, took off a couple of those.
Mhm.
What was sort of happening with the capital plan was that it was becoming a home for things that people didn't want to budget for.
Correct.
And so we're trying to move away from that. A thing that we were discussing was, the police department is on a fleet replacement program, and that's great. It means that our police vehicles will always function, which we want with police vehicles.
Yeah.
We're getting there with public works. Every year we have money set aside for the larger dump trucks and the mason body trucks, and that's great. The mason body trucks are not in. So we'd like to get away from fleet replacement being involved in the capital plan. So the things that are there are things that have been brought up, that were taken out, that we don't want to fall off the radar, but that may not live here.
I remember, I think it was the emergency services communication. It was one of those where it seemed to always be at the last second, we need this now,
Yep.
as opposed to being a budgeted item every year to build towards. So get that off of emergency, we need it now.
Exactly, and we've had some discussions with the fire department to try to do the same. Because I know my understanding is several years ago, we had several vehicles purchased in rapid succession, and that makes kind of staggered fixed replacement days difficult.
And I think it's, yes, that was
It's the
when,
pitfalls of buying multiple vehicles all
At
the
one-
time.
right.
That's
As
right.
opposed to,
Staggered.
They all
Yeah.
die at the same time.
and now the good thing is with the fire department, you know, with the emergency management thing is, in the planning, like with the SCBA's and the radios, the chiefs are now involved in part of the budgeting, so they're walking with the commissioner, so when the budget is presented, the fire chief is there as well as the commissioner, so he's a big active part in it now to ensure that nothing is falling through the cracks.
So Rory, I'm not necessarily
So you
not
want
in
my
support
Chiefs.
that those items fell off of the capital plan, but it has to live somewhere because, for example, with the police vehicles, their fleet, that's kind of an unwritten agreement with the Board of Finance, and if you get a whole new board in there that decides they don't want to agree to that, so it has to live somewhere. We want to get away from the kind of silent agreements.
A broader discussion that we've had and we've been slowly implementing, Kirk started it several years ago, is kind of taking, shuffling the budget around in such a way where, we budget for a 3% increase for utilities. So a department could be completely level and still show an increase because the utilities, which are budgeted by department.
You automatically correct.
So moving utilities to one section, creating a fleet replacement section, so that there is.
Right, thank you. Are we approving the capital plan tonight?
I'd like a motion to approve the capital plan.
I'll make a motion to approve the capital plan as stated.
Seconded.
Motion by Trish, second by Rob. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain? Nays? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Item number 14. Oh, my favorite discussion. Favorite discussion. Go ahead.
So, the last time we talked about this, the board authorized the town to go forward and assume this burden, by working with the folks at Union Cemetery and their council, to effect a transfer of the cemetery. Attorney McClure from our office has been working diligently on this. He has been in contact with their council. He has gone back and forth with them in a number of ways. And this is just a status report tonight. I'm telling you, as of this date, we have not gotten to the point where we have a clear path where we are entitled. And So I'm giving you all a heads up, do not be surprised if we come back in a couple of weeks or a month and say we're unable to come to terms, and the town will not be assuming the obligation at this time of putting up the ongoing operation and maintenance of community center.
Interesting.
Please stop me if I misunderstand this. We're offering to take this obligation from this group whose members are aging out. They are holding this up with their own mandates for our ability to take this on.
The mandates to deal with how we are going to operate the cemetery on a go-forward basis.
They are requesting or demanding to change how we manage the property that we're going to be taking on. Am I understanding this correctly?
Yes, like when we have to remove the plastic flowers and when we can have to cut a, no flat plastic flowers, and when we could blow the leaves off the cemetery, at what month that has to be done.
At what? Okay.
Most of us have two family members in a variety of cemeteries that pay respects, and you see that there are plastic flowers in many of them. There are
It's not my favorite one. My favorite one was Selectman Bowen. You cannot sell beverages or food in the cemetery.
There goes my
There
business
it goes.
plan.
The town's gonna put a
Well, there it goes.
I don't see the town doing that as a business model.
Rob's got to return his hot dog cart.
Dearly beloved, we are hot dogs here does not seem like an appropriate thing. But I guess the point that I'm trying to come to is this is an expensive undertaking for the town that we're taking on right after, during a pandemic. What are the consequences in a month if we tell the people who are making these mandates as to how we do our jobs, if we tell them to come back later, if they're still around?
This is why we took the proper steps initially to try and see if there was another cemetery that would take ownership who's used to doing this type of business.
Yeah,
So
we don't
now
wanna be in this business
we've,
either.
when that didn't work out, the town took the responsibility to say, we were gonna take it on, and this is where we are.
I understand that, yes.
Very well, maybe developing alternate.
I just want to go on record and say that we are taking on this burden. It is a burden out of goodness of community, out of a sense of community agreement. Personally speaking, I do not accept these onerous demands from a group of people who are trying to give this up. That's all I'm going to say about that, but I think that should.
Well,
I think that anything that's done with respect to the deceased, in that respect, then whatever they were throwing out us, it's definitely something we'd have to consider, but maintenance and things like that would have to fall within our schedule and what we can achieve as a.
Well, I think there's a lot of other, aside from you, what you mentioned, the mandates, I think there's a lot of other legal issues too, in terms of, number one, where are property lines, where and how accurate are their records as to the number of plots that are available or that are not available. There's a lot of issues here, man.
So we will have a chance to declare back at some point during the.
Thank you for the update.
If
Thank
you're
you.
interested in their bylaws, I do have a copy of them on my desk, and I wasn't going to make a copy of them for you because they're from 1978. But if you're interested, we can always have Rory send you a copy.
I just want to note for the record that there are two people at least on this board that were not born then.
And I want to make it for the record that that was not even necessary to say thank you.
Stop
At minimum. I
Stop
said.
aging us, Chris.
Some of us may not look that old, though.
You're a little insulted right now.
I don't know. I that old. You don't look that old. We don't look that old.
Oh. I'm gonna stay out of this one now.
You started
Okay.
that one.
All right, so there's really no action that needs to be taken. It was just a
Status.
discussion. Okay? Number 15, discussion and take possible action regarding a proclamation from Tony's Diner. Today, I went to Tony's Diner with State Rep Nicole Claire Stitchia, and I read a proclamation from the town of Seymour. Tony's Diner, as you all know, is downtown Seymour by the Route 8, and they have been in that location for 35 years. He has seen Seymour grow. He has seen his surrounding areas change from businesses coming in, manufacturing companies coming in, manufacturing's closing. And I was just amazed how he has been there for 35 years. He came here from Italy. He went to Canada. From Canada, he went to New York. And his brother actually owned the old meeting place. And he got the idea of opening a place from his brother. So he opened Tony's Diner. So Al is actually going to read the proclamation that I read to him and presented to him and his wife today.
Okay, proclamation. Whereas Tony's Diner is a Seymour institution and a fixture of downtown, and whereas the Labrandi family serve as a source of inspiration for other small business owners, and whereas Tony's Diner is celebrating 35 years of serving the Seymour and greater Naugatuck Valley community, and whereas Tony's Diner can always be counted on for a delicious breakfast cooked the way you like, and whereas Tony's Diner will always welcome you like family, and whereas Seymour is grateful to have Tony's Diner as a member of our community, and therefore, be it resolved that I, Amory Dragonis, the first Selectwoman of Seymour, Connecticut, do hereby proclaim Saturday, July 24th, Tony's Diner Day, to be a day of recognition and congratulation in the town of Seymour, in witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand in this 20th day of July 2021, cause the seal to be affixed. Amory Dragonis, first Selectwoman.
You should really go there for his bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches. They're
Delicious.
They're delicious.
And the Labrandi family, they are a really great family.
They
If
are.
anyone who knows them, they are really wonderful.
When I
group of
went-
people.
Excuse me, when I went and I read him the proclamation, he had like tears in his eyes. He was like, nobody has ever done this for me. Thank you so much. And, you know, we look at, you know, what can Seymour offer us? We look at the big manufacturings in our industrial park, but sometimes we forget or take advantage of the small little mom and pop shops. And that's what downtown is made of, is the small mom and pops store. So bringing everybody into downtown, whether it's Tony's Diner, you know, Tickles Pink, you know, the stained glass, and I know I missed some, and I don't mean to miss any of them. Trish's Tea with Tracy. There's just so many of them, and it's just starting to grow and starting to get busier down there. And I'm just so glad they were able to survive during the COVID.
Yep.
The things they have seen and done in that spot
Yeah,
are, it's mind blowing when you really think about it.
Seymour Brass. You know,
Yeah.
they were there when other people, Danny DeVito ate breakfast there and other people's money.
During the Brewster, oh, well, yeah, other people's money.
Bridgeport Press.
Bridgeport Brass. Thank you.
I was there when they filmed that.
So,
I worked there.
it was amazing. Okay. Appointments, my package is so big, I don't see there's any appointments in there. There's no appointments. Tax refunds and abatements. Please review to make sure there are no issues.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Motion by Trish. Second by Bob Finley. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. Transfers, that's the big packet. So, as it is the end of our fiscal year and the beginning of our new fiscal year, we have a lot of transfers from our old fiscal year. As you know, in 2020, we put everything into contingency. We froze spending and we put money in there. So now these are the transfers from it. So I guess we have to take it transfer by transfer, Rory, right? So control, I'll go by the first one I have in my hand. It's control number 10. It's the town planner. It's from the contingency to the town planner salary. The amount of $5,964.
So moved.
Motion by Trish,
Seconded.
second by Pat. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes 7-0. Control number 11 is waste collection, contingency, it's going from the contingency to the collection of refuse. So in this one, what had happened is because of COVID, and I keep going because of COVID, commercial trash was down. Everybody was home. Everybody was cooking. So what happened, we found out that residential trash went up, commercial went down, because they were generating their own trash. When you go out to a restaurant, it's all disposed of there. You go out to McDonald's, you go out to eat, it's all there. Nobody's cooking at home. There was no sports, there was no events for people to go to, so they're spending more time at home. So our residential trash cost went up. Motion?
Point of order, Madam Chairman. This is $123,736. Needs to go to town meeting, I believe.
Yes. Oh, thank you, Mr. Lombard.
What is
All
it?
right. Section .4.
That's what I thought
That has
it
to go
was.
to town meeting, Rory? Okay. Can I have a motion to send control number 11 to a town meeting?
Second.
Motion by Bob Finley, second by Pat Lombardi. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 7-0. Thank you, Pat.
You're welcome. I don't do these things to catch people or anything like that.
I know you
I just
don't.
want to I want to make sure we're doing it right, that's all.
It's anything over 100K?
Anything over $100,000, it's a transfer, but it's considered an expenditure
Okay.
under 14.4 in the charter. It has to go to town meeting.
So control number 12 is miscellaneous. It's contingency from the emergency volunteer abatement. This is for the abatement for our ambulance as well as our fire department. This is their abatement they received in the amount of $14,000. Can I have a motion?
Second.
Motion by Trish, second by Al. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 7-0. Control number 14 is from the Finance Department. It is a contingency, it is the salary directors in the amount of $2,937.89. You have these? Okay. I have a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Lombardi, second by Bob Finley. All in favor? Discussion, sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Chair votes aye, motion carries 7-0. Control item number 15. Departments for selectmen, it's contingency, it's the first selectman's salary, human resource, salary for the first selectman's assistant, chief of staff, administrative assistant, social security, and retirement. Total is $21,782.04. Can I have a motion?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Motion by Bob Finley, second by Chris Bowen. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 7-0. They gave me all the backup information first, that's why, sorry.
You're missing 13.
16, I'll get there.
Oh,
16 is town buildings. Anthony Caserta is coming from the contingency to the director of salary in the amount of $10,060.93.
so moved.
So moved.
Motion by Rob Finley, second by Pat Lombardi. Discussion.
Rob Van Agen.
Rob Van Agen.
Rob Van Egan.
You said Rob Finley.
Sorry.
No, I know.
Okay.
Bobs are the same.
All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries 7-0. Did I do 10?
You
Town
did 10.
planner.
Did you get all?
Nope.
You didn't do
I got a
13.
list. Yep. We did town planner?
You're missing 13.
Number 13.
Dana?
I'm getting there. I have duplicates. Did I do 14? Yep.
Yep.
Just leave 13, right?
13,
I don't have
yeah,
13.
tax collector.
I don't have 13. I do not have 13 in my packet.
Got it on screen. if you need it.
14, 11, 13. Thank you. Tax collector, salary regular employee, and the salary of the director, and the amount of $8,406.
So moved.
Motion by Bob Finley, second by Rob Van Egan.
Nope, Chris Bowen.
Chris Bowen, sorry. Discussion?
Yes,
Democrats
Go
look
ahead.
alike to you.
Exactly.
there's an error on this transfer. It
All she
says
saw were the guns.
fiscal year 2018 through 2019. I don't have any problem with the amount of the transfer,
They gotta change that.
but we need to get that corrected. The transfers are subject to audit when the auditors come in.
Okay, Rory, can you make note of that? And double, no, the other one said 2021.
All good?
Yeah,
Okay.
all right. By changing that, do I have everybody in favor?
Yes.
Chair votes aye, 7-0. Thank you. Okay, transfers. Correspondence you have in your packet. Of course, the proclamation that was read today. You also have the 2021 Catherine Matthews grants, a description of who the grants went to and what they covered and the amount that they covered. I think that was it for correspondence. Where did my package go? That's in everybody's packet? Okay. Also, in your packet is a map from Eversource. So the red line is the backbone maintenance trimming. The backbone is what feeds into their system. So the main line, they trimmed all that. The blue line is their scheduled maintenance trimming, so you can see, I don't have tiny glasses where I can read all this stuff, is where they are scheduled to do the maintenance. Just on a side note, I did look into, how much a substation would cost us.
Mm-hmm.
And we would need 2 substations,
Okay.
and that's $60 million, just for the substations. That's not including any line work. And while we're on that, if I can, our electric companies, whether it's Eversource or CLP, they are the biggest they are huge taxpayers, not our biggest, but they are huge taxpayers. If we eliminate the electric company, we eliminate their taxable income, and then we have to tax the residents even more money. So think about it, 2 substations, $60 million, not including your lines and your transfers, and asking them to buy it or to use it, they're not going to. So that's just $60 million right there. That's not even including workers, costs, anything. Maintenance. So while Wallingford did it, they did it in, I think it was 1876.
Long time ago.
1876, and they know Wallingford, even though they own it, they have been bought out. So it's been over a period of time. So just to,
Well, there's a lot of frustration with the electric companies.
Absolutely.
And frankly, I give him
A lot of credit for coming
he's
here.
trying to come up with a solution and not just
Absolutely.
complain, so.
no, he
Yeah,
can't,
I'm kind of lost at 60 million. I don't think with everything we have to do, that's in the plans right now. But, I mean, keep ideas coming. I love seeing involved.
so do I.
Lotto tickets?
But I'd like to bring it back up, because we haven't revisited it, but we know that when Kurt was still in office, he was very upset with how things went with Isaiah. So we really want to take a look at, what other things we can do. Is the co-op option?
The
can it pool
co-ops
with
are
other
not
towns?
even
Like, is that
around
something-
us.
Yeah, okay.
the co-ops are not even around us.
I mean, I'm sure you guys have all investigated that, but Emery, could you just give us an update maybe at the next meeting? like what-
Yes,
what's
I
going on
gladly
with it?
will.
He was talking about the municipal option, which is the long-term utilities. Our firm also represents the other municipal utility companies, say it's Groton Utilities, but they're all in history now.
Absolutely.
But I would gladly, I didn't want to go off
No, I just wanted to ask you
Off-
that before I
yeah,
forgot. I've been
yeah,
meaning
but I
to
did
shoot
wanna
you a
mention
quick,
that.
email about
We
that,
still,
but I
we wanna
appreciate it.
keep holding the, whether it's ever, we have Eversource, so right now, holding them accountable and keeping pressure on them,
Yeah.
because it is infuriating.
I
how things
agree.
can be managed.
I agree with that, and I did speak to Shannon LeBon, and she has stated that, they did fix that one, the Great Hill area, we lost power for an hour, and people were in uproar because we lost it for an hour. It was hot, I lost it at my house for an hour as well. Then the next day, we lost it for a half hour, and people were on Facebook complaining because we lost it for
But
a
that was
half
because
hour.
of the use, because the
Because-
brownouts, right?
because
That's a
of
rolling
brownouts,
brownout.
because we had so
Right.
many days, and
That-
even a brand-new electrical
Listen,
system.
that's gonna
gonna happen
happen.
anyway.
That's not what we're talking about. You know,
Right.
that's
Right.
not what
It was
people are
response
really
to
annoyed
Isaiah.
about.
The
Yeah.
response was the 14 days
I think
of
reasonable
no
people get the
power.
rolling brownouts from
Yeah.
3 weeks
Well-
ago.
Well, no, they didn't.
Well,
No, they still got it, because they're not.
Give them a shelter.
Well, now,
people-
to be fair,
Yeah.
the description of people think that's all the same, it's not.
I
You
know.
have to understand the differences
Right.
of why that.
I can't
But they're
tell you
having
how many phone
flashbacks.
calls my office got, but even 5 minutes going on Facebook. Okay,
Yeah.
if you can go on Facebook in 5 minutes, just give it a minute. If it's out for 2 hours, I get it.
Right.
It's a
You gotta
big
wait.
inconvenience.
Yeah, you gotta-
But California, they were told that at 5 o'clock, you have to shut all your power off because you're gonna start losing power. And think about the time that all that power went out on Great Hill. It was at 5 o'clock. People who have set programmable
we were lucky it
thermostats-
wasn't noon.
Right? They
We were
set their
fortunate.
programmable thermostats because when they're coming home, their thermostats are going out.
Right.
So when they get home at 6 o'clock,
Sure.
their houses are cool.
So the houses were a little hot.
People are starting to
Yeah.
cook dinner.
Right.
So they're drawing more and more electricity. So even though I understand it was an inconvenience, and I get it because I lost power as well. However, they did fix that switch. That's not making up for Isaiah's. We want to make sure that they continue to improve and they and do what they say they're going to do because they aren't charging us an outrageous amount of money. However, they are improving what they need to do. I'm not by any means okaying what had happened in the past, but let's learn from it and let's continue to move forward and continue to hold their feet to service us like they should. That's what I'm saying.
I think that's what Tricia's saying too. and other
Exactly.
folks, Yeah.
Because trust me, I'm in Medboss. I don't want to be freaking hot. I need air conditioning.
And let's face it, we're still talking about the ideas that people are coming up with that have been investigated. The more ideas people come up with, the more good ideas, there's going to be good ideas that help us.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
I say,
But I did look at that. That was
even in failure, there is success.
absolutely. 60 million was a little tough for me to swallow on that one.
Yeah, that's not.
All right, any public comment? Selectmen's public comment. Let's start with Selectman Bowen.
So, congratulations to the high school girls for yet another state championship in Seymour. But it's easy to say that, but I just want to note that I got, this is my first year in softball. I did my first softball games as an umpire this year, and I've gotten to see the Seymour Little League program up close. And I want to give special appreciation, if you will. I mean, his name's on the darn field, but the Bob Lang was a teacher of mine in elementary school, and he used to drill times tables into our heads. It was so boring. Just going over our times tables, going over the very base fundamentals that we needed in math, in a classroom, etc. And I see that approach still exists with the softball program. They go over their rote fundamentals, their rote defensive drills. Everything is very regimentally structured so that by the time the girls get to high school, it is so solid that they're just head and shoulders above the competition. So I just want to congratulate not only the girls, Coach Capreras and everybody else, but everybody at the grassroots, all the volunteers in the Sugar Shack, all the coaches at the lower levels, all of the work that has been put into the George J. Hummel program from the time some of these girls were 6 or 7 years old, that is now starting to bear fruit with yet another banner that's going to be going up in our auditorium and another sign that's going to be going up on our streets. That leads me into another point that I've been big on is signups for youth sports are down. And we could talk about the reasons for why, but I come back to, it's easy to blame video games. It's easy to blame there's more to do, but the costs are so high for travel, for equipment. I mean, a hockey stick for me when I was a kid was $30. Now they're $300. I want to start, I'm trying to get together some ideas on cost sharing and helping people offset the cost of youth sports, because we need more people signing up for youth sports and we need more people getting to the fields for them. Youth sports, when I was young, I can honestly say this, it saved my life. It kept me on the straight and narrow. It kept me out of trouble. And I think there's so many people that can benefit from just getting onto the field, whether it's organized, whether it's disorganized, whether it's just sandlot ball. We need to increase our efforts to get more people involved in youth sports, because the benefits will pay off for years and years and years, well after they're out of the school system. So, thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Congrats to the girls softball. I went to Seymour, and they were formidable back then in 2001, and it's nice to see that that is a tradition that is keeping up. So congratulations to them. Summer is going. COVID is rearing its variant heads around, so everyone don't get too lax. Everybody's much more comfortable being out, and that's great, but hand sanitizer, things like that. So let's just all try to keep this wonderful forward momentum, and hopefully enjoy the summer if we get a couple nice days without rain. We'll see about that. If you could make that happen, Lady for Selectwoman.
I'll try. How's that? I'll try.
Oh, and Xander's 6 months today.
I was just about to ask how nice it is. Bruno?
I just want to thank towns of Seymour and Ansonia for a great fireworks display. Everybody enjoyed it, and my family, and that's really it. Hope everybody's enjoying their summer.
Were you able to see it from your house?
The tree line was there. We screwed it somewhere else. But you could see the colors. You could see the...
Oh, I just want to note that I missed that fireworks show because I was working the U10 softball girls winning their District 3 championship.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome.
You're forgiven.
Congratulations to Seymour softball. I mean, that was great to have them all here tonight. That's a lot of participation and always exciting to see. I did go to the fireworks show, and that was great. I really like to continue doing that, but I know Ansonia had multiple viewing areas where they were, and they were able to organize it a little bit better. So it might be the best location for Seymour for sure, but we want to try and mimic a little bit kind of what they were doing. They had food trucks, they had a lot of other things out, because I was so surprised. Heavenly, like, we had some of the businesses closed. I was like, there's a big event tonight, and they actually closed. So, you know, we have a year to look into and do something for next year, and I think everybody had a really great time. I didn't go up to the Ames area, though. I was I was with friends, and we were interested in not getting stuck in traffic, so we kind of parked, as many people did, all the way down the road. Yeah, so when I found out how Ansonia had a few different locations, I tried to scoot back to see if was anyone even able to see it at the community center?
No,
I don't
so you couldn't
think
see
so.
it at the community center.
Yeah,
When you're
so
up
when
on
we-
that rock, you can see the community center, but I think when you're down at the community center, you couldn't see it. A lot of people had
Yeah, by the
complaints about
time I
that.
got over there was only one car leaving, and it didn't look congested at all, so I wasn't convinced they actually saw anything. So just something to consider for next year and see what we can do to improve.
We got to put it out on Facebook and ask, where were you, and were you able to get a good view? And maybe that way
Absolutely.
we could plot on a map.
You know,
See
and
where
this was our first year. I was at Tri-Town.
Oh, yeah, I'm not knocking it at all. The first year,
But
there was
Tri-Town,
always
the
some-
traffic, there was no traffic. They had police officers directing traffic. Everybody was out of there within 10 minutes.
Yeah, and you know, at first I thought it was great having the car show up there for people to walk around while they were waiting, and then I was like, here were people that were going up there to park and couldn't get a parking spot and ending up, I was surprised. The cops were great because they didn't do anything to upset anybody, but people were actually parking in the middle of the road, which I was like, the cop just went around them, but there was nowhere else to park there, so it, you know, everyone was able to enjoy, and I think everybody that was up that way was there for that reason, so it was still nice.
Yeah, I have to make a comment about Seymour softball. I mean, I've been fortunate, I just watched my daughter start with Seymour Little League program at 8U. She's been through 2 Connecticut state championships at the Little League level, 2 state championships at the high school level. She's playing college, she plays for the Brakettes. And it's not just playing the sport, it's how she manages herself in life. I mean, the girls that go through that program, it's not just about the success in the game. They also kind of take that with them to everything they do. And it's been, I mean, I'm lucky my daughter was a part of it, and I'm sure, I know a lot of the girls are on the team, and I know how they are. They're all very respectful, and they all grow up to, and they blossom, so it's great to see the legacy of years that it's gone on. It just, and that's mind-boggling to me, how many people have been impacted by that team, and Coach Jamie and Coach Ken being there for them that many years.
Yeah.
I'd just like to echo all of your comments regarding the Seymour High School girls softball champions, and also your comments on the fireworks. I think they were great. I watched them. I didn't have to move. I watched them from my house. And it would be nice to see them if we can continue them next year. And that's all I have.
We'll see. One more thing I wanted to add was Mazzaro Community Farm. They did reach out to me today, and they wanted to let everybody know that they have your grow your own locations. The Seymour Gardens are at the community center, located at 20 Pine Street, and at Trinity Church at 91 Church Street. All they ask is that you spend a little time. If you weed, you can take some of the, they plant all the vegetables, and they just ask, you go in, you water, you can take some vegetables. You go in, you weed, you can take some vegetables. Help maintain and take the vegetables. And they just want to get the name out there. They're throughout the whole, valley, Seymour, Oxford, Ansonia, and Derby, as well as Shelton. So I think it's great. I think for those that can't have a garden in their place, they can go and just pull a couple of weeds and grab a couple of carrots.
Is that divorced from the United Way now?
I believe so.
Okay. Yeah, because the United Way had put those in all around the valley. I actually helped measure out for a bunch of those things, and I know that they were going to step away. They wanted other parties to take over, and the fact that they're doing it, I think Casey Brothers took one of the other ones. That's wonderful.
And so I think it's great. You can have the kids do it. They can learn.
Is that something you can put out on
I'm going to
Facebook?
put it on our Facebook page. I'm going to give this to Stephen tomorrow to put on our Facebook page as well.
Because I don't think anyone in the neighborhoods realized. They actually did some outreach once where they were knocking on doors, especially in Ansonia, saying, "Do you realize that is your community garden? You can go in and take stuff." And people, "Oh, I had no idea."
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a wonderful for areas where there's sometimes a little bit of a vegetation desert.
With that, can I have a motion to,
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
motion by Trish, second by Bob Finley, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.